Thanks for watching the video. My name's Clint from the Diehard MMA Podcast, and you can catch the replay of this entire video over on odds.com. Click the link below to go check it out, and let's make some cash. What we actually have is a light heavyweight fight between Anthony Smith taking on Devin Brown Bear Clark as our co-main event. Now, I say unfortunately not because I don't like these guys, but because that was the best fight on the card, man. Losing Fiziev and Moicano hurts my soul. That was the one fight on this whole card that I was just absolutely looking forward to. So Anthony Smith, my action double over there, is 33-16, taking on Devin Brown Bear Clark, 12-4, who is probably my favorite fade in the UFC today. I just don't like the guy. I don't know. I've got a personal beef with him. He belongs at 185. He's got these big, thick tree trunk legs. He's explosive. He's a good wrestler, but I think he's too small for 205, man. I really don't think that Devin Clark belongs at 205, and I don't think he'll see long-standing success at 205. He went through absolute hell in his last fight to get that win over Menefield, and that's a spot that, honestly, all props to Clark. I have no idea how he made it through that fight with Menefield, because he looked like one more good punch was going to sit him down, and he dug deep to bear through it. Anthony Smith, dude's on a bit of a skid. He's having a bit of a tough time, 1-3 in his last 4, I want to say. And he's a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. People don't give him enough credit for how good he is on the mat. The issue with him is he does chase those submissions. He will end up on bottom. He gives up takedowns. But you know what? His striking is improving. He's come in the right direction. We've seen some good things out of him. Coming off his loss to Alexander Rakic, I mean, this is honestly a massive, massive step down in competition for Anthony Smith. And I feel like this line should be a whole hell of a lot wider, man. I tweeted earlier that I should be betting Anthony Smith here in this spot. I just don't know if I have the strength to do it. Like, he's let us down so many times recently, and we've seen him exposed by grapplers. This, again, another short turnaround, another short notice fight against a guy that's really his kryptonite, laying -135 or -140 on Anthony Smith as a favorite. Man, I don't know if I can do it. How are you feeling tonight on this one, Manpreet?
So there's a couple different ways of going about like recency bias, right? Let's start off with Jason Witt. We want to say recency bias with him because he got knocked out by Takashi Sato in 44 seconds. Then he comes out there and looks like a -500 against the guy that he was pretty much at a pick him at, whoever that guy was in his last fight that I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we have situations here like Anthony Smith, who he's been dominated for the last 7 rounds. Yeah. Like his first round against Glover Teixeira looked amazing. Almost finished him, had great looks there, was piecing him up on the feet. But once like midway round 2 came, we saw him just absolutely, it seemed like he was giving up. You know, I mean, he gets taken down at will, getting pounded on, and Glover Teixeira finishes him in the 5th round. Then he comes out there against Alexander Rakic. Okay, maybe that was just a hiccup against Glover. No, he gets leg kicked to shit by Rakic for a bit, then gets taken down, and then just gets laid on. We don't see any urgency to get back to his feet. We don't see any urgency to throw up submissions or anything like that. That looks like a defeated fighter to me. And I believe Anthony Smith is 32. Let me confirm that number. I believe he is 32 years old. As soon as my Tapology can actually load up. 32 years old. There we go. And he said 49. This is going to be his 50th fight. But there's a difference between being 32 years old with 20 fights and 32 years old with 50 fights, because fight miles matters so much more than the actual age of an opponent. Just ask Shogun Hua. Just ask these other guys that have not had as many fights as Anthony Smith, but are showing the wear and tear just later into their career. But with Anthony Smith here, I'm not willing to part ways with my money for a guy that looks like he doesn't want to fight. You know what I mean? He doesn't it's so weird to say that, because I respect fighters to the utmost degree. Like I give them all the credit in the world to go out there and get punched in the face for our entertainment, or potentially for filling our money or wallets with money. You know what I mean? But here, I find no reason to bet Anthony Smith, given his body language in his last couple of fights. We know Devin Clark will be able to complete takedowns. We know he'll be able to get him down. I believe, you know, we're led to believe that Anthony Smith actually has an amazing guard and has great submissions off of his back. But where was any of that in his last couple of fights? We haven't seen any of that. You know what I mean? So that is a definite that's a huge red flag for me. Now, the fact that the money is coming back in on Anthony Smith and we're possibly going to get a better line on Devin Clark here is getting me a little bit more intrigued on Devin Clark. I'm not gonna lie. When I broke this fight down for my Patreon people over a couple of days ago, actually, I'm like, I wouldn't touch this fight with the 10-foot pole at evens. But if we're starting to get plus money on Devin Clark, who in my opinion should be favored in this fight, given how they've looked as of late and given the advantages that Devin Clark has in the wrestling and grappling department, I got to go with Devin Clark. You know what I mean? It may not look the greatest on the feet. So if Anthony Smith is able to keep this on the feet and he even has 50% of his confidence left, he could absolutely go out there and starch Devin Clark and probably knock him out. Alonzo Benefield wasn't really successful in doing that. And I'd like to say that Alonzo Benefield has a little bit more power on the feet than Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith may have just a tad bit, but Anthony Smith may have more tools to get to that knockout in terms of just having a combination and then ending it with a high kick or something like that. So that might be the difference there. Now, again, I don't want to be putting my money on a guy that's looked like Anthony Smith in his last couple fights. Say what you want about him, his legs getting kicked to shit by Alexander Rakic, and that's why he wasn't able to. But your legs don't really come into play when you're on your back. So where's the work off the back, right? No work off the back. So I think that Devin Clark could actually lay and pray his way to a 15-minute decision here. And that's the way that I'm going to go. I don't think that Clark finishes him. I don't think that's, the only finish I see is if Smith goes out there and knocks him out in the first round. But after that, I think Devin Clark is going to have taken him down too much, had, ridden him on top and ground and pounded him and, sucked that energy out of Anthony Smith and that power out of Anthony Smith. And we see Devin Clark just cruise to a 15-minute decision. So I'm going to wait to see how much wider this line becomes, because if I can get, I would hope for a closer, maybe plus 130 to plus 140 for Devin Clark. I'll wait it out and see what I can get. But I prefer the what is his name? The Brown Bear. I believe that's his nickname or whatever the hell it is. I'm going with the Bear here with Devin Clark, and I think he's a solid spot at plus money.
Okay. Another slight disagreement here, man. The only thing for me is the level of competition.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith looked phenomenal in round 1 against Glover Teixeira. And honestly, if it wasn't for Glover being the savvy old veteran that he is and punching him in the dick, he might have gotten KO'd in that second round. Anthony Smith came out like a madman, and then his heart just didn't seem to be in it against Alexander Rakic. And I can absolutely get with you that that's extremely concerning, that it looked like he just didn't want to fight. He didn't want to be there. But comparing Alexander Rakic to Devin Clark, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. And Glover Teixeira, believe it or not, may be our next title contender at 205. So the gap here in competition level is really the thing that's got me going. Man, if Smith is not going to hang it up, if he's actually still fighting for a career, if he's not ready to be done, this is his bounce back spot. This is his step down spot where he says, no, I'm not buried. I'm not dead. I'm still back. And I almost feel like this is a spot that they pinpointed, man. Like I said, he's taken a short notice replacement here. I almost feel like the opponent fell out and he went, I can beat that guy.
No, I could see it for sure. This is definitely a huge step down for Smith, but this is a good fight for both of them if you want to really look at it that way. This is a way for Smith to possibly get his confidence back, and this is a way for Smith to get a decent level opponent under his belt too now. So he wants to make strides towards that top 10, top 5 of the division, and Anthony Smith is going to get him there. So this is a big spot for him, just as much as it is a redemption spot for Anthony Smith. But I'm going with a up-and-comer per se. It feels like Devin Clark's been around for a while now, but I'm definitely going with
he's
Clark.
A slow up-and-comer, man.
That's absolutely.
All right. So the thing I'm thinking on this one is I might take a flyer on Anthony Smith by submission. That's been kind of the Achilles heel a little bit for Devin Clark. He got submitted by Ryan Spann not so long ago. He's always looking for the ground game. Anthony Smith will oblige him in said ground game. And I think he's just miles ahead of where Devin Clark is on the mat. So I do think this fight ends up on the ground, whether Anthony Smith ends up, laying in the fetal position and letting it go to decision or snatches up a neck at some point. I really think that's the big question. So I don't know if I'm actually going to bet it. Again, just another fight with way too many questions, untrustworthy fighters, in my opinion, on both sides of the line. I'm going to say Anthony Smith gets it done by submission. But again, don't know if I'm actually going to get there.
Plus 550 is not that bad.
That's not that bad for a high-level black belt in Anthony Smith. That's maybe the way that I'll look. That might just be like a half unit shot or something at plus 550. Can't complain there.
That body language is just so concerning, though. That's my only issue. Yeah,
I want to see the
sure.
weigh-in. I really need to see, is he coming in shape? Does he look like he's ready to fight? Is he going to meet the eyes of his opponent when they face off? Like, that is such a big thing for me. If Smith is ready to go, he wins this fight. If Smith is looking for a paycheck on his way out the door, then yeah, Brown Bear's going to absolutely grind him out for 15 minutes. So there's a lot of the mentality, I feel like, going on in this situation. And the problem with Smith, before we move on from this thing, he's that guy that's always losing until he wins. You know what I mean? Every single fight is a comeback story. He's going to give away the first couple of rounds, but we have seen Devin Clark gas. We've seen Devin Clark slow down later in fights. And again, that's where I'm just like, this is a prime spot for Anthony Smith to do exactly what Anthony Smith does. Lose the first round and a half and then snatch a neck on his way down and pull off the submission win. My soul says he's going back to the old faithful.
You're staring recency bias in the face and saying, I don't believe you. So
basically,
if you take that Anthony Smith bet.
Hey, I'm doing that with my own betting record right now. I'm staring that recency bias in the face and being, get out of here. All right. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. It is time for the main event breakdown here for UFC Vegas. We're at 15, I believe, at this point. I've said it so many times tonight, I lost count myself. Got my boy Manpreet hanging out with me, lock of the night. This is odds.com. Do us a favor, like the video, share the video, whether you are fading, tailing, or just listening for some enjoyment on your Monday night. We appreciate you hanging out with us this evening, and we appreciate you giving us some support here.